What's up, guys? So today we have a super special guest. This is 2022 NAIA National Champion Cole Smith from Cumberland, Tennessee. This guy had a crazy NAIA finals match. I think just this past week, he was down 8-0 against Marty Margolis of Grandview University and came back and stuck this guy in the second period in about 4 minutes and 1 second. Cole ended up finishing his season undefeated and is the first national champion for Cumberland, Tennessee since I think 2015. So that's before I even started college, guys. Cole's a great wrestler. He's super solid. He has this like look when he wrestles where you're just like, what is he thinking? You can never tell what this guy is thinking. We're actually gonna get into that. I'm gonna be like, man, what's up with the look? Like, what is up with that? Because you look so serious all the time, but it's not mad or mean. It's just like it's just serious. Anyways, guys, Cole is funky. He's exciting to watch. And I'm rooting for the guy, and I'm super pumped to have him on. This is the first of many national champions or All-Americans from this past national tournament that I'm going to have on. We're killing it, guys. This is episode 10 of the podcast. I'm pumped to keep it up and keep growing the NAIA. Here we go. Let's meet Cole. Dude, you're a national champion.
Yeah, finally. It took a year, but got it done.
How does it feel?
Right now it feels pretty good, but like going back in the moment, like it felt good for like 5 seconds, and then after that it was just kind of like calm and relax. I wanted to watch the wrestling.
Yeah, that makes sense. Besides your match, because we're gonna get to that, because that was my favorite match, hands down, the best match. It might be the best match I've ever watched. That was that was fucking awesome. But beside your match, what was your favorite finals match? Since you got to watch some of them after.
Well, I wasn't allowed to watch any of them before because they get kind of too into it. Same. So they wanted to like just keep me in the back, focused, ready to go. So like the first 2 matches, like I couldn't even warm up. They just had me like sit down, just like, hey, like can't warm up too early.
Yeah.
But from what I hear, Eskos was just like all on his feet.
Yeah.
Like just 2 takedowns, I think.
Yeah, it was.
What's his name? The kid from Mongolia. I think he had like a real good match too.
Oh yeah, Batterdine Boldma. Yeah.
Boldma, yeah. He had a real interesting match. Because I went back to watch some of his like highlights, like when he picked and threw the kid. Like that was
he's a
that
beast.
Was nice. But I have to say probably the 197 was my favorite match. Like there was just a lot, like even though the score wasn't super high, like there was a lot of action and stuff going on. And like when he pinned him at the end, I was like, wow, like
crazy. But pinned the returning national champion too. And that dude is a freaking stud. And he came back for a 5th year. I thought he was
gonna get OW for the tournament.
Yeah, me too. Batterdine got the OW, and that kind of
he got both for the season too.
Yeah, because the same thing happened to me last year. I got both. I don't think I deserved both. I think that they have like this maybe it's like a culture of just being like, okay, these guys have won a bunch of titles. It's their last year. Let's just give it to them. Because he had a great match. Don't get me wrong. But man, I would have called you or Zane for, in my opinion, OWs, because you guys finals matches wise, those were the ones that I was like, what the fuck? Like I was going crazy watching both of your matches, to be honest. But Batterdine's a beast, man. I love him. I'm gonna have him on actually, which is super cool. But yeah, so we can go ahead and talk about your match because your match was crazy. Your match was wild. I mean, you were getting handled a bit for a second.
Yeah, no, I was a little bit like I wasn't doing some smart things like on the mat because right before the match I was like, okay, like let's go pin this kid. Like let's go put on a show. Like let's try to pin him in like the first 10 seconds of the match. Yeah, that was like my mentality. I was like, normally that's my mentality going into a match, but that's what I decided for that day.
Yeah, it was completely unsolid, and I loved it because how did you end up pinning them again? Did you? Yeah, well, I don't even remember what you did.
So what I did, Mark Strickland from Predator in Virginia Beach, like he was the one who like showed me the tilt. All it is just like, so you got the arm on the back like at the 90.
Yep.
And normally what people do, like they go like around the world sometimes, like underneath. You can do a lot of things from that position. Well, what I like to do is I like to put my knee like on their elbow, so it opens up their chest. Well, as soon as I did that, like his chest was already open. Like he wasn't like trying to defend it. So I don't know if he didn't either see it coming or like what he was expecting, but I went claw with it right away, got the claw super deep, and I started like leaning heavy towards his shoulder that side because I'm like, all right, like I'm gonna get back points here. Like I am 100% back into this match now.
Yeah,
But
100%.
what ended up happening was that he ended up trying to turn in to get the reversal. And
Which
so
was
I knew,
bad.
yeah, I knew right there, all I gotta do is just hold on the wrist and just kind of tighten it down a little bit, and like that's gonna be it. So once he did that, I just did that, hopped on top, reached my right arm was like far deep as I could around his chest, and like I was able to grab his other arm. So like he was just going nowhere.
Yeah, he made a mistake. I don't know. You probably would have pinned me too, man. That was a weird position. That was just like, I don't know. I don't know what I would have done if I was him.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've also drilled that position like a lot too, like during practice, because even like Ryan Long was like, yeah, like I know that position all too well.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's something I drill like constantly. So like every little like way the guy can move, like it was probably already done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was super tight. It was like I said, you and Zane had two like pins where I didn't expect it, to be honest, either. Like I expected you to win and I expected Zane to win. I called it. Everyone saw. I put predictions out there.
No, I saw. That's honestly why I knew I had to win too, because I'm like, if Brandon Reed's picking me to win, because I was talking to Ryan Moore before that too when we were like in the finals. Like, hey, look, like Brandon picked us. We have to win now.
I know, dude. Ryan's match broke my heart, man. He's so me and Ryan actually were in the same club team in high school, so we're both from Kentucky. Yeah. So we both went to this thing called ETC for like 3 or 4 years together. And so that, I mean, he's a stud. I am honestly surprised that Denver Stonecheck won. I mean, hats off to Denver. I mean, that's pretty awesome. But it's like, man, I think Ryan might have cracked under the. I'll talk to him about it, but I think he might have cracked under the pressure or something, like, because man, he just did not wrestle in that match, and I don't think you got to see that match because it was before you, right?
I only got like it was like I was warming up like at that point outside the back room.
Yeah.
Like I was only able to see like the scoreboard. That was
Yeah.
it because the what it was like the tarp or whatever was like in the way.
Yeah.
So I only heard like two stone check, and I was like,
Stonecheck. Yeah, dude.
like, what is going on?
It was so bad, dude. It pissed me off. Heart was broken for Ryan, but he's gonna come back. I think Ryan will be a national champ eventually. He's pretty small for the weight class. I mean, he's slick.
Well, I was talking with him too about like last year, and I thought he was gonna go back to 41 because I thought he figured what's his name out like towards the end of the match where he was starting to get through his legs pretty. I'm like, wow, this is gonna be like a really good match for next year. Then he was talking to me about like how like he got down, I think, for national duels the 41, but like it just wasn't the same. Like he wasn't wrestling good, so we just bumped him for 49.
Yeah, it's clear he was a lot smaller than most of the people he wrestled. Honestly, it's crazy. Like people who don't wrestle don't understand. Like when you look at that, like 41 to 49, it's totally different. Like it's completely different. At heavyweight, I don't see it. Most people think at heavyweight, like the weight difference really matters. At that point, it doesn't because everyone's at like full strength. So it's like the pounds don't matter as much. But 41, 49. Yeah, it's great. And I don't think he could beat Batterdine either. Batterdine's just so God.
I had faith in more. If they're at 41, I was gonna go with more this year.
Really?
Yeah, I was going to.
Man, maybe if he had some good turns. I don't know how good Boldmo was on bottom. I've never really seen anyone like actually turn him. So
neither did I. So I couldn't say.
Yeah. How did you do last season, by the way? I can't remember. You All-American, right?
Yeah, I know. I took third. Last season I lost to Sid Old in the quarters, and then I just wrestled back to take third.
Dude, talk about that. That guy wrestled back hard.
Yeah, no, I remember watching his match and the kid he was wrestling because I wrestled that kid at the campus duels, and all that kid does is he really just kind of like bounces in and out of the pocket, like he doesn't tie up. So that's how I knew, like, all right, this match is going to be close. Before the match even laid out, because like Sid, like he doesn't like necessarily lay back, but like he waits for kids like to go into him. This kid was never going to go into him with any pressure, so that's how I knew, like, all right, this is going to be like this is just a bad matchup.
It was horrible, and he got a really good. That kid had a really good scramble in overtime, and in my opinion, and I say this about so Sid and the guy who got Bass, maybe that's his name. The guy who got second for life, both of those guys did not wrestle very well at the end of the periods.
Mm-mm.
Like they just stopped wrestling. I don't know if you saw the Bass match, but he literally
No,
stayed on
I
his,
saw how he got taken down. And I'm like, how do you get taken? Like the kid ran around him.
he
Like,
stayed on both his knees. It's what I
yeah,
tell like kids all the don't stay on your fucking knees. Like, and literally anyone who's halfway fast or decent can just go around you, you know, and you stay on your knees. I mean, Bass is he might be a better wrestler than me. I don't really know. But
no,
at that moment,
he's super good.
yeah,
Passes.
exactly. He's incredibly good and incredibly technical. But again, wrestling's a lot more than just being technical. It's like you have to have match strategy too. Like there's a couple fucking seconds left. Get off your knees. Like that is for anyone who ever listens to this, and all my kids listen to this. It's like never just stay on both your knees. Never, ever. There's always something. Like a good guy can find something. And right there
Yeah.
was just like, oh man. But respect to that kid. Another transfer to Grandview. I think that kid was at Graceland, the All-American for
Mhm.
Graceland, and then went to
Oh,
Grandview.
that was him.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
wow. Because I was
yeah,
like, he took I think like what, like seventh last year.
yeah. He took seventh
Mhm.
last year. He got his butt kicked by Derek Smallwood last year on my team, and then Derek just is the man.
No,
Derek.
I could tell he had a little bit of a rough season this year.
It was super rough, man. I mean I don't really know, but the he tends to lose, and I love Derek, and you know we're roommates and stuff, but I think he loses focus pretty hard towards the end of the season. And man, again, I love my friends, I love everyone, whatever who wrestles, but it's like for me, like getting fourth every single year, he got fourth 3 years in a row, and just like, dude, like you're, I don't know, maybe those guys were just all better wrestlers than him, like the top three, like maybe he had no
Well,
chance,
the
but
one thing that like I don't know, because like I watched so much film on like so many different people, and like last year I was watching film on him because I'm like maybe like I'll wrestle him. I don't know.
mm,
But like the one thing he always used to do is he always used to go from like elbows, he'd like push, go like opposite side or like same side. But,
mhm.
like I don't know, I just stopped seeing that. Like I saw it a little bit last year, but then like this year, like nearly not as much.
I agree. He was very like on the Jason Nolf like
Yes.
push.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he loved pushing, pulling, going his like low double, low single stuff. But yeah, like I said, it's you can be really good. Like I think his sophomore season was his best wrestling season. I mean, he got fourth still, but I think his sophomore year was his best because I think he was more into it. Um, but then you know, life happens and you become a little bit less motivated. He was good enough to get fourth again. I guess that's okay. Um, Personally, I hate the idea of getting fourth place. Uh, but I did get fourth place when I was a freshman. So let's say, and I got pinned in a fucking
uh
cow catcher. Do you guys call it a cow catcher when they
Cow catcher, yeah.
yeah, like they just
Whip
literally
over.
yeah, dude. I was such a I mean, I still suck at wrestling. It's crazy. But like I was even worse as a freshman. I was like, God damn, like I look back at matches and I'm like, I was horrible. I was like really, really, really bad. And I'm thankful for the NAI to give me the opportunity to look good. What grade are you in actually?
Right now they have me as a sophomore, so I got a couple more years ahead of me.
What? There's no way you're a sophomore. How old are you?
I'm 22.
Dude, you're you're gonna be
It's
a
it's
25-year-old
really
senior.
unfair. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you fucking sandbagger. Damn, that's crazy. Well, it's
Well,
okay.
we don't know what happened because like I spent my first 2 years at ODU. I redshirted, but I think you guys have different like redshirt rules from like NCAA to NAIA.
Mhm.
Well, I didn't wrestle like in a competition for like an ODU sanctioned
Mhm.
competition at all.
Oh,
My
really?
second year, so like I had like buy my way through like all the opens and stuff. I didn't wrestle in any dual meets or anything like that. So I'm guessing somehow like I qualified for something for any. I don't know if it was like another red shirt or like medical red shirt because like that first half of the season two at ODU I was hurt. Either way, like that year I don't know. Guess definitely didn't count because then when I came in like my first year at Cumberland, like yeah, hey, you have 4 years of eligibility. I'm like how?
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. I actually had no idea. So I was actually gonna ask you the question because I usually ask everyone because this is about the NAI, and I was gonna be like, did you ever have any Division I opportunities? But then you went to ODU, so that's Old Dominion, right?
I got to wrestle a couple of kids from at Linwood. I wrestled the kid from McKendree. He took I think top four last year for Division II, and then I wrestled Cardi Wilson, I think is his name, from Southern. I think at the time he was like top 30 or top like 40 in like Division One. I beat him. So
Yeah. So you wrestled D1 for 2 years or 1 year?
2 years.
2 years. So if you don't mind me asking, what took you from ODU to the NAIA? What was the reason?
Well, right before they cut the program at ODU, I decided to like get in the transfer portal. Not that like I knew it was going to happen, but I had already like, kind of made up my mind, like, hey, like this isn't the place where like I want to be. It was like college wrestling was I thought was going to be different when I was in high school. Wasn't what I turned out to be. So then I kind of had this like bad like image in my head where it was like, oh, like if this is like what NCAA wrestling is about, Division One wrestling, I don't want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Because I thought like when I was there was like not like heavy favoritism, but like it wasn't what they said. It was like, oh, like this person's gonna get this spot if like you do this and that in tournaments. Well, towards the end of it, like we had our main guy get hurt. I think he had like a high ankle sprain, like right before the conference tournament. And then at the time, the kid who they were bringing back for like the backups for him also got hurt. But like at the same time, like I was still keeping like close matches, beating those same two kids at the same time. They're beating me though at the same time. So it's more like I was just dominating.
Yeah.
Like it was like going back and forth.
Right.
But both those kids got hurt.
And
I thought, okay, like I'm the guy now. Well, they still didn't pick me. They still went with the kid with the ankle sprain. And I was just kind of like, okay, like why would you not like the kid was super nice kid. Like nothing against him. Didn't hold anything against him.
Yeah.
But like in my head, I was just like, why would you just like make that? Like you want to sound like your best wrestler at the time. And, like,
right. Yeah, I understand. So it was so because of that experience, you're like bump Division One. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, at that point, I was already like, all right, let's go NAIA because at the time, my senior and junior year, Jeff from Reinhardt, the coach over there, he was like the only one from the NAIA like reaching out to me. I'm like, oh my god, like I forgot, like this was an option.
Yeah.
So, like, I started looking around, and then like the first person I actually saw from the NAIA without like even looking at anything was Derek Smallwood, and I saw that he wrestled Austin O'Connor in like high school or something.
Oh,
so I was
yeah.
like, oh wow. And like I remember watching that match. I was like, well, like this is someone like even though Austin beat him, I think like 12-4, like he was still like in the match the whole time. Like it's not like he was just like Austin was dominating. Like Austin had to wrestle.
Yeah.
So I was like, if this is like kind of what the like at least like 10% of the competition is like at the NAIA, like I can definitely go here and like compete and like have fun doing it. Like it's not just gonna be like a push walk over the entire time. Like it'll be fun.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. It's actually crazy that you said no one reached out to you from the NAIA because on the opposite end, I literally had like 2 schools, Kent State and Campbell, reach out to me from Division One, and literally no one else. And I placed at Fargo twice and at Flow Nationals, and still had no division.
Never placed at those tournaments.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Then after I was like in the portal, Reinhardt, they reached out to me right away. Both the Cumberlands did. And what's that school in Arizona?
Like, Embry-Riddle?
Yes, they reached out to me too.
Nice. So what made you decide Cumberland, Tennessee?
Well, at the time, I was looking at like all like Reinhardt, both the Cumberlands were like my top 3 at the time. And in my head, I was like, okay, like I gotta choose like off the coaching staff and like what as far as like what the team looks like. And at the time, I thought in my mind was that Cumberland, the school I'm at now, and Reinhardt had the 2 best teams. I saw that at the time Nathan Waltman was on the team, so like, all right, I'm gonna have a good partner who's gonna give me different looks. Yeah. And I'm sure there's probably like other kids like at that school that are like solid too, like Matthew Sells at the time. Yeah, I didn't know was on the team, super solid guy. Yeah. And then at Reinhardt, I think there was Cole Tenley, and there was like Noah Saxton at the time too.
Yeah.
The one thing I saw was that Reinhardt had a lot of like seniors at the time, even though they were ranked, I think like number 2 going into like the country. And then Cumberland, I think the year before wasn't ranked, but I knew they were gonna be ranked because I knew they had like a lot of returning kids. Yeah. Well, I saw that there was more seniors towards Reinhardt. I'm like, well, I don't want to be at a school that I know is only guaranteed for like one more good season. Yeah. Like I'm looking at Cumberland, I'm seeing like, all right, we have like a lot of sophomores, a lot of juniors, like kids are gonna be like there for a little bit. So that's at the end of the day, like why I made the choice to do it at Cumberland because I thought there was a better investment more down the line.
Yeah, that's super big. I was actually like I always give like little lessons, little speeches at the end of my club wrestling practice. And one of the things I talked about was the investment and taking time to like leverage uh your options with schools. So don't for example, let's say you have 5 different schools and all these different schools are offering you different things, because one school might offer you a ton of money, the other school might offer you a little bit of money, but you have great partners, and one school is kind of that in between.
Yeah.
I think it's important to take your time and leverage your options, because lots of kids, and even I feel like I did this, like we rushed to commit. So like we're like, fuck.
No, that's what I did when I went to ODU. I committed before I even took a visit.
Yeah, and it's like you're not giving yourself like a fair out if you do that, because you might end up going to, like for me, like no offense to Lindsay, but like I went to Lindsay and it wasn't until my junior and senior year that I had like a really good practice partner. You know what I mean? I was basically just wrestling with the coach and it wasn't like that great. And I think that really is what kept me kind of low. Even though I won nationals my sophomore year, I still felt like I was not who I did eventually become because I had Trevor Lawson. But
Yeah.
if I would have like maybe went to Grandview or went to Life where they had like better big guys, I feel like I would have more success right off the bat. Not that I regret my experience. It's freaking awesome. Like I won nationals 3 times, but don't rush to choose your school because there's just so many options. I think it's cool that you like looked at your practice partners and, you know, the senior level. I never thought like that deeply into it. And
Yeah, no, I'm a super, super big thinker on and off the mat.
yeah, I was gonna say, man, you're so who else? I was talking to Coach Ruff. He's at Cumberland's now. And we were like, I was like, man, this guy looks like, because it looks like you're thinking really hard. Like right before you're about to wrestle, you're like kind of look like a brick, like a little stiff. And I'm like, is he all right? You're just, it's your face is like, it's like a power thinking face. Like you don't look nervous. You're just like, it's like you're holding your breath almost, it looks. And I'm like, man, is he okay?
No, honestly, each match I have like a plan of just like there's before I even go on the match, there's countless hours spent on just like watching film on like each kid, like or each possible scenario. So I remember when the national tournament came out, I was running every different possibility of like who I could have wrestled and watching film on each kid.
Hey.
And it was super exhausting, but like I love it at the same time though.
Yeah. So me and you are the same then. I watched a ton of film. I still like, I am addicted to wrestling and jujitsu, obviously. So I watch like all I do is coach, train, watch film. Like that's kind of my life, or like hang out with my girlfriend. Like those are kind of the only things I do.
It's the same type of thing right now.
Yeah. Because I don't know, like I enjoy it. Like I'm addicted. I do jujitsu now, not wrestling, but I still watch wrestling film because I'm a coach. And I still like to improve my wrestling. Wrestling is good for jujitsu, but it's like there's like so many little things you can learn by just watching film. And I have friends who literally just don't utilize film at all. And I'm like, how? Like, how do you not use this tool?
Well, I remember when I was watching film on David Rubio from the kid from Corban, I think is the school, how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
I was watching film like in our wrestling room because like there was a Flow account connected to the TV, and we had like a couple high school programs working on the room because like there's the same weekend as like the Tennessee State for the high school kids. And one of the coaches like came up to like me and Coach Hicks and was like, he's okay to watch this. And I'm thinking to myself, like, what? Like, of course I'm okay. And there's like Coach Hicks was like, yeah, like he's like probably like one of the few people who can like watch film and like not get like wigged out or like not change his wrestling style.
Yeah.
Which at the time I didn't really think about either because I'm like, oh well, like I totally forgot. Like people probably do that. Like they change their style a lot just to match someone's, which is something you shouldn't do. Like if you're good at certain things, like keep doing your things. Like if you need to change, like maybe like, all right, if this kid's got like a good post double, we'll just like don't reach. But like that doesn't mean hey, like don't shoot your sweep single or like don't shoot your low single because of that.
100%. I agree. Yeah, for me, like I watched a lot of film on Greg Hagan, the guy I wrestled last year, and literally the only thing. So he has a really good high crotch and he has a really good inside trip, and so me knowing those things, all I literally did was put my hips back a little bit and put my right hand down. That was the only adjustments I made for that whole match. And I still like hit my go-to takedowns. I hit a super duck, I hit a dump, and then I just normal go behind. And it was like I didn't change up too much. It was just like it is important to be aware of guys' tells. Like Hagan, if you give your right elbow to him, he's gonna get you. Like he's gonna hit with a high crouch. And if you keep your hips up high, he's gonna inside trip you. That funny enough, that happened at the finals this year in heavyweight.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, it's like stick to your style. Don't change up too much. Just like just be aware, don't because it will make you super tight, I guess. Like you won't be able to be you. And that's how you win, is by being yourself. You can't try to shoot high crouches when all you drill is single legs,
Yeah. And the other thing too, so like I just gotta say, anyone watching this, they like obviously everyone knows I lead left leg. Well, everyone's first counter to like stop this, because I lead left leg, I shoot that same side.
Yeah.
Their idea is that they change their like lead leg stance. Like that does not work, because people don't do that. Like you don't just like mid-match, you're not going to change. Oh, I'm going to lead righty now because he's going to shoot to like my other side. Like, no, that's ridiculous, because what do you have that's going to shoot off that leg? Like,
exactly.
Before you're going to shoot, you're going to have to change that leg. And that's where like people get, like, I catch them at.
Yeah. That's super smart. Because that's a dumb adjustment to make. So let's say you shoot. So you like to shoot, you lead with your left leg and you like to shoot to the right leg, I'm guessing.
No, I shoot to their right leg.
Yeah, you shoot to their right leg. So
what they'll do is like they'll lead lefty to put that leg back. Like,
yeah, but that's dumb, because you like, even I, like, just thinking about it right now, I feel awkward thinking about leading with my left leg.
Yeah,
that's just thinking. Like, that'd be weird. So all I would do if I was wrestling, I just put my right hand down and be ready. Like, because I know how to defend with my right leg. So if you attack it, my defense is going to be pretty solid. But
yeah, it's the same with my left leg. It's like, it's the leg I always keep forward. That's why I usually have really good defense with it. But I think I got taken out, I think probably 3 or 4 times in the national tournament. Like, I always like brag about my defense, but in the quarterfinals, that one kid from Arizona, he was so strong. Like, he had such a good pull. Like,
I didn't get to see that.
Like,
what did he take you down with?
So he had shot like just a normal single, and like he'd wrap his hand around it, and I would like go out, sprawl, and like get in front of him. But I knew this kid was like me when it comes to like his pull and stuff, with like pulling in legs. So I'm like, all right, like I probably just stay right here. Well, me getting greedy, wanting to score points, kept trying to circle out to get the score, and he would just lift and pull me, but like he would double off from his knees, and he would just like fling me on my side, and I was like, what the fuck? And he did 2 times in a row, that like right away. And I was just like, oh my God, like I can't let this kid grab my leg anymore. Because like,
yeah, dude.
Like, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to score, and like it's just gonna eat at time. So I gotta stop this kid from grabbing my leg.
Yeah, that's, it's crazy, because this sounds weird, but you kind of have to learn stall tactics a little bit. Like, not like in a way you got to learn how to like kind of shut them down for a second. Like, man, my last year of wrestling, I only had 17 matches, so I didn't get taken down in any of those matches. But it's just NAIA heavyweights, like they're not shit. So, but the year before, the year before, I wrestled like Tanner Farmer in the finals, and I also wrestled Zach Elam from the University of Missouri, and I got taken down twice by Elam and once by Farmer. And it's like, dude, like I'm like kind of like, if someone takes me down once, it never happens again. But dude, some guys are just good. Like Zach Elam is just good.
That's the mindset I kind of had. Like, I'd always freak out if I got taken down. I'm like, oh my God, like I just got taken down by like some kid. Like, I'm terrible.
Yeah.
And then like I went in the mindset, like, all right, like eventually I'm gonna get taken down. So like I'm just gonna have to get up and just like, it's gonna happen. It's inevitable.
Yeah, that's my problem, I think. Because like I kind of like me and my coach called it like I had like the thug mentality when it came to wrestling, and I was kind of just like, I'm not giving nobody shit, and if they get shit, like there's no option, and I think that was bad for me, like my junior year, because like I said, I lost to Elam. Elam was the only loss I had on the season that year, and I lost to him 12-11 because he ended up taking me down twice with the same shit. Like, I shot a high crotch, and he just did a sprawl and go behind. He just broke my lock, and I was just like, I don't know, like my mind was broken, kind of. Like, I was like, this is stupid. Like, why is this guy taking me down with a fucking go behind? This is like, I get like, he's a D1 kid, yeah, and he's pretty good, but it's like, I should be way better than this kid. But yeah, I think it's cool. I prefer your mindset and Derek. Derek has a pretty similar mindset to you. where it's like, nah, I'm gonna get taken out eventually. I just can't do it. Like I can't have that mindset. I'm like, so even with jiu-jitsu, I'm going to compete in Vegas, and there's lots of good wrestlers there too. And I'm just like, none of these motherfuckers are taking me down. And they might. So, dang, what was I gonna ask? So you got taken down 3 times in that match?
I got taken on twice. It was like 4-2 him
Okay.
after the first period. So
how'd you come back? Let's break down the match.
he was pretty tired. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like, I felt it kind of get sucked out of him after that, because it isn't like I was like not sprawling hard. Like I was sprawling hard continuously. Like he had to use a lot of strength. But then after that, I was like, all right, gotta go bottom, gotta give him points. So free point on bottom, got up, took him down 5-4. And then at that point, like I think I had running time sealed up. So then their coach decided to go neutral. So then I just he shot in, almost had it locked, broke his lock. Then I went drag to the right side, and I, instead of like shooting to the leg, I kind of just like ran until I grabbed it.
Yeah.
And like as I was running, he just kind of like, he was just so tired, he just stopped and pivot on his right foot, so his left leg was just straight. So I just grabbed it, shoved it.
And that, you said that was the quarters?
Yeah, that was the quarters.
And semis, how do your semis go? Because I only watched the finals.
The semis, watched a lot of film on him. Saw that he was kind of like more of like backing up to a shot, like how Delgado used to do.
Yeah.
The 125 from Illinois. Like he back
loading
up and shoot.
up. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought he was a lot like that, but he would move his feet a lot more. Like he would like not jump up and down, but like really good level changes, really good side to side motion. So the game plan for him was just to stalk forward and just stay lower than he did. Because I saw that like he didn't have like any front head stuff. He wouldn't go to front head, wouldn't try it. So as long as I was lower than him, like I would be fine. So I would just stay lower and just stalk forward. And as I would stalk, he'd keep like backing up, circle, keep backing up. So at that point, it was just like timing, because I knew he was going to go from the free, and my game plan was just to go touch and go. Because as soon as I touch, I'm either going to fake, he's going to go away, then I'm going to shoot, or when he gets tired, he's just going to stop moving. I'm just going to get to the leg, which is what happened.
That's really smart. That's I said that's like the downfall of really athletic kids. Some people think I'm athletic. I'm not really. I'm really
he was
not.
Super athletic.
Yeah, it's
because the other thing that he was super good with was like scrambling.
Yeah.
A lot of people, when they scramble, they roll on the mat. He would roll like midair. So he would like jump. It was super athletic, which is why I was just like, you can't lift up this kid to like return him. You just have to trip him, keep him on the mat.
Yeah, that's super. Yeah, that is really smart. It's for him. Like if I was his coach and I gave him some advice, I would be like, hey, this summer you need to work on diversifying your attacks. Like you should start working from ties, like get really good underhooks or get really good front headlocks also, because the really big problem with guys like him is that when guys learn how to shut down, like for example, like really fast doubles or singles, or even just shut down the scrambles, you're so one-dimensional now. It's like I don't think I've been blast doubled except for once in my life. And I've wrestled tons of like big, fast, athletic kids. And it's just because like wrestling on the outside is not very good if you're going against a really good guy, unless you're Jordan Burroughs. Of course, that's fucking different. But yeah, like against guys like him, I usually just put my hand down, get low, and catch an underhook. Like I always catch an underhook.
The thing with him too is like he would go from the free, like his best thing was like a touch go. Like he would like comparing it to Jordan Burroughs, like Jordan Burroughs can be really forceful from the free, like where he'll shoot. Like he won't just like necessarily catch someone right away and they'll fall on their butt. Like he'll get to like, and he'll like run through it, power through it. That's one thing like this kid that didn't have. He didn't have where like if he got to like he could like force himself into a position. Like if he just had a good spot, he would have to bail out.
Yeah. Yeah. Did he end up placing then? Because
no, he took 5th. I was like he lost to Sid in the semi consolations.
Okay. So and then, so where is it? Did you have a hard first round match? Or I'm guessing you probably pinned the person in the first round.
No, I did. I was a kid. I actually one of my relatives coached the kid that I wrestled because he was from Moline, Illinois. Yeah. His name's Jacob Rudiger was the coach. And I just knew that because I remember like seeing the kid like in high school. I think his name was Jaden Terez. He was from St. Ambrose. Super like long and lengthy. So I was like, man, like got all those like different diversity of like people in wrestling, like got long, tall, short.
Yeah, it's crazy because that like again, I think I would have been okay at a smaller weight class because I feel like I'm pretty technical overall and I make really good adjustments. But I will say like that's like the thing about I'd say 197 and below. Like there's just so much more diversity as far as the styles go. A
Mhm.
heavyweight, it's very like it's very top heavy as far as the talent goes. And I mean, I'm not trying to say that they're not as technical, but it's
Well, I'm
sometimes.
hoping what's gonna happen for like heavyweight, because like you saw that one kid from heavyweight from Southeastern won it.
Yes. Yes.
I'm hoping that like all those like people like around his size that like cut from like 220 or like 230, cut to 97, stop going 97, start going
Yes, it's
heavyweight
stupid.
instead.
It's so
Hmm.
stupid. That's what happened. When I went to college, they tried to make me wrestle 97. I was 228 pounds when I won nationals my
No.
first, second, and third time, like 228 to 230.
Hmm.
Bro, everyone's bigger than me, but it's like it doesn't matter. I would have loved to wrestle that Southeastern kid. That was like a guy because one of my best areas is leg ride defense, and he was very good at legs.
Hmm.
That would have been like a fun match. I think
Yeah.
for me, like a really really fun. I don't know who would win. You know, it'd be tough. It'd be a really tough match, but it is super nice to see people like him win and to see like Hagen in the finals too. Because they're new age heavyweights. Like they're
Yeah.
lean
Hmm.
and they're fun. Like you don't see that many inside trips or freaking spladles from heavyweights, and both those guys are just putting them out there a ton. And speaking of heavyweights, Patrick DePiazza, what the heck, man? That was just like what the heck? You this
No,
get
this season, like for like everyone, like not that they weren't like invested, because everyone was invested, but
yeah,
like I think at this point it became more like a chore instead of
yeah,
like doing something that they actually like loved.
yeah, 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 yeah.
This is what I think happened. Like he still went out there, because I remember the last match he won, got to the kid's legs like 3 or 4 times. It was like things you just need to do technically that are different that like he just didn't do, because at all times we're in practice, like how often is like he like in that situation where like he's like has a leg up in the air, like how often does he finish from there? And like it's not too often.
Yeah,
Like normally, like when he gets in on the leg right away, they're already bailing out. Is the
yeah.
problem?
That is the problem. That's why I was grateful to have someone like Trevor Lawson. I don't know if you know who that is, but
Oh, I know. I know Trevor.
yeah,
I was
Trevor. Oh, sorry, was that?
I thought he should have won it this year, just from like how things like,
Oh my God, yeah. I
because the kid he lost to ended up beating 8-0. Like,
Trevor is the guy that I think Trevor can win national still. He still has a year left. I love Zane. I think Trevor's a lot more technical than Zane. Um, I mean, the guy's like a 3-time state finalist from Ohio in Division One, you know, so he's a really good wrestler. And wrestling him in the wrestling room, we would literally have hour grinders where me and him would only get 1 or 2 takedowns on each other, you know. And but I guess back to the point is like wrestling with someone like Trevor in the room, and I don't think DePiazza may have this type of partner, is I always had to like fight really hard for my takedowns, like incredibly hard. If I was on top, that dude would hit a swim move on me if I did anything. It'd be weird. Like this guy could hit the so it's I find it really important to have like a partner who can do that to you because in DePiazza's case, you're right. He got put in like lots of spots where there was adversity and you can kind of see that there's a little bit of quit for some people when they get into those spots. And that can be a result in not pushing yourself or not having the right partners. A lot of things can go into it, but I feel like he was one of the guys who had the potential to be like a really, really good heavyweight.
well, the thing is too, is he beat the kid that won it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, he beat him. He beat him at the national duels. Like it was like back for like you take him down, then like the like kid would either reverse him or like escape and take him down. It was a good match to watch.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that. I had no idea. Okay, I take it back. I would have beat that Southeastern kid. I take it back now.
That's what I was gonna say, because I'm like, man, like he must he must not know.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that. Never mind. I take it back. I try to be pretty humble, but yeah, I'd probably beat him pretty handily then. Yeah, I'm retired now, so if someone has a problem, I can just be like, I'm old man, you know, if you guys have any issues. Yeah, we can't wrestle it anymore. I'm done, man. I've had because of that COVID year of eligibility, I've had so many coaches still reach out to me and I'm like, no, I don't want to wrestle. Like I have no like you know, I'm not trying to call these guys out, but like a certain Big Ten school, I went up there to go train a couple of times. And now their coach will literally not stop texting me. So I actually ended up blocking him because I was like, dude, leave me the fuck alone. Like, I literally have a wrestling club, a full-time job doing wrestling privates, and I am like a sponsored jiu-jitsu athlete. So I train and compete and travel all the time. And I'm just like, bro, like, why are you still like texting me? Like, they're like, what can we do to get you in here? And I'm like, nothing. You can literally do nothing. Like, I am tired of this shit. Like, because college wrestling's hard. It's so hard. And it takes like a type of like obsession to get really good at it. Even in NAIA, like watching hours and hours of film or doing, I was about to ask you this, but like doing extra workouts and stuff and really just like finding ways to push yourself.
Compared to last season, like I would like rack like probably like marathons a week. I would do like a marathon a week or like a marathon and a half a week. So this season they had to tell me like, hey, like you need to like calm it down. Like like instead of like, hey, instead of running every day, why don't we get like a lift and just like not do anything like the other day. Like let's just lift, try to get stronger, which was the big thing too that I thought helped. Because like I'm not a super strong kid. Like when I bench, I only put like a 45 on each side. Like not that strong. Like pull-ups, don't like pull-ups.
Yeah.
But like even like doing things like that, definitely I thought helped a lot. Like I thought I even looked bigger at the weight.
You look good. You didn't look small, definitely. Like you had like that Bo Nickel look to me, like the tall, lengthy, but still strong dude. So what was your extra workout of choice then? I guess it's running. Like
running is always my go-to. Like anytime I feel something's wrong with like my wrestling, or like if I'm just like mentally just like not like in the right mindset, I'll always go on a run or something. Because I'm not moving my feet right. All right, gotta go run, then gotta go do stance in motion or something right after. Something just to blow out the legs, get them tired, or like, hey, like, you know, you did terrible on a test today, or like, hey, you got like a 50 out of 100 points out of a paper, so you got like go run, just relax.
Yeah, that makes sense. For me, it was drilling. So like some days I kind of did too much too. Like I had a similar problem, so I would literally, and I feel bad for it. So I was kind of I don't know, I would say monarch on my team a little bit sometimes. Like I love to drill. So like if I was like feeling tired or I feel like I needed to get my extra work in every single day, like especially like those last 6 weeks of the season, I drilled. I had an extra drill practice like without the team. So like I would text Carlos Figueroa or Trevor or Nico Bustle or whoever and be like, hey, I need to drill. Like I need to get my 30 minutes of literally hitting one move. Like I would hit this thing called we call it like a duck double, but really what it is, it's kind of like you do a steering wheel tie and put your left hand on their back leg, and then you duck out to the opposite side. And it's what I hit on Tanner Farmer when I won nationals in overtime. But I would literally just, I love to drill. I hate it running. I was like the opposite of you. Like if I was like thinking about running, I ran twice a week, but that was like not by choice. But yeah, but I was like, I need to fucking like I love drilling. And if I have a bad match, I'll just like I gotta drill. Like one guy from Providence threw legs in on me one time and it took me like 30 seconds to get out of it. And I was so frustrated. I was like, what the fuck? Like legs are not that hard to get out of. And so I asked Trevor to teach me like the swim move thing, like, cause he does it really well. And then I literally got another guy named TJ to come over. He actually went to Embry-Riddle. He would come to practice every single day, like an extra practice. And all I would drill for like an hour is the swim move. So it'd be like swim move or like sit out when they throw a leg in, like both of those things. And I just was like super obsessed, I guess, with like if I was making mistakes, I'd be like, what the fuck? Like, why am I like I suck? And I was my harshest critic for sure. But no running for me. I can't believe you fucking did you like to run.
No, I love it. For me, it's so easy, especially like long distance running. Like I'm not a fast sprinter at all.
Right.
Like I keep up. Like I'm always like top 10, top 5 for sprintings from our team. But like as far as like distance running, like I really like go like separate myself. It's not like I'm doing like a nice easy jog pace, you know, like I'm running.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Have you ran a marathon yet?
No, the most I've ever done was a half marathon. I can't remember the time. That was just like on the treadmill.
Yeah.
For like shits and gigs, just because I was like, oh, like let's see how long I can run today before I have to stop. And like that's running at like that half marathon was probably like at 7 mile per hour pace.
Yeah. That's
like
that's good.
Pretty good.
That's pretty good. Me and Derek actually ran a marathon last year after nationals.
Really?
Yeah, so like the deal was if I win like wrestler of the year, because like that was like my big goal is like I'm tired of winning nationals only. I want to be wrestler of the year. And it's like if I win wrestler of the year, we have to run a marathon. And so I won wrestler of the year or whatever, which I still don't know how that happened, but it ended up happening. And then we ran a marathon, and literally all I did I did like 2 weeks of prep, and I took like a week off of the season and then did 2 weeks of prep and then ran the marathon. It took me, I mean, it was slow. It took me like 5 hours to finish the marathon, but it was nonstop. I had my little energy gels, my water. I like it. It was probably the hardest thing I ever did, and it was like I was one of the last times I like really ran.
Mhm.
Now I'm just a piece of shit who pulls guard and tries to leg lock people in jujitsu. I wrestle every now and then, but no running for me. What as far as like diet and stuff, do you go like crazy with a diet, or how do you look at your
Um,
diet?
so I have this like plan of like, so if I'm wrestling like a competition a week, what I'll do, because last season, like I said, like I was also really small too. Like I'd like at before practice, I'd weigh like 67, 66. So like I'd be like 160 after practice. I would lose like 6 pounds of water in practice. But so this season, I really had to make sure that like I was like well above it. I had to make sure going to each practice I was like 170.
Yeah.
So if I was any point like going up to it under that, I would like have to gain back up. So it was definitely like a lot more like smoothies for
Mhm.
sure. And then probably a lot of carbs too. I'd say smoothies and carbs were definitely the two biggest things.
Yeah.
Because then like I wasn't eating. And
Yeah.
like on days like 2 days out, 3 days out, if I was still like 170, I'm like, okay, this is a little bit too heavy. Like instead of eating like a full meal, I have to eat like half a dinner and
Yeah.
like have like a smoothie with like some fiber in or like some extra protein.
That makes sense. Yeah, that I mean that's kind of a like your problem was kind of a good problem to have, like to be kind of smaller for your weight, I
Mm-hmm.
guess. Cause like we had like Brett Bradford who won nationals the same year I won my first one, and he was cutting from like 190 to 165.
Mm-hmm.
And he was dying. I don't get it, dude. Like that sh- that stuff stresses me out. Like just looking at how like you have to live when it comes to like cutting crazy amounts of weight. And he ended up winning nationals, so it paid off. But I know a lot of guys who do that and they just don't perform, um,
Mm-hmm.
which is super sad. But I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions that I wrote down to so I don't steal too much of your time here.
No, no, no. But hey, if you want to go 3 hours, we can go 3 hours.
Yeah, yeah,
There's
cool.
no rush.
Cool, dude. Yeah, I enjoy it, man. It's just like on the side note, it's so crazy because I did not talk to anyone in the NAIA when I was wrestling. Like I had no friends outside of my school. Like everyone was an enemy to me. Like, and it sounds crazy, but like I hated everyone. Like I was just like, fuck you, fuck your team. Like I don't want to, but like now that I'm out of the NAIA, and I'm coaching kids and stuff, I'm just like for one, I just loved NAI. Like when I reflect on it, I love the experience I had, and I love the people in it. Like I love the wrestlers. I love the different stories that people have. I just love it, and I love promoting the NAI. Like I have kids who are like, I want to go to Penn State, and I'm like, man, you are not a Penn State wrestler. Like,
Well, I got some stuff I gotta say with that too, with the whole NCAA and NAIA thing.
let's do it. Get into it.
So this is like my biggest takeaway. So as far as like looking at it, as far as like regional like wrestling, like where are these people going throughout the country? You're seeing like a lot more like people like in the South, like Georgia, Kentucky, Tennessee, that go NAI versus like NCAA,
Mhm.
and then all these kids from like the Midwest are all go like Division One or like NCAA.
Mhm.
Well, at the end of the day, like the NAI is definitely like on the rise for sure because
Mhm.
the South is also growing with wrestling. Like
Mhm.
you look back like five years ago, Georgia might have only had like each year maybe like one or two really good kids that could go and like
Mhm.
do something well at the national tournament for Division One. Now it's like that collective group, like instead of like five kids, you're looking at like 20 or 30.
Mhm.
And like Tennessee's starting to be like that too. You see, like we had a couple ranked people like on flow. Like right now it's like 5 or 4 kids like
Mhm.
total like for high school. Well, probably a couple more years, you're going to see that same pool that Georgia had, which is going to keep growing and expanding,
Mhm.
which is going to lead to like a problem as far as like NCAA, because like the Midwest is always going to have those like good people.
Mhm.
Like they're always going to consistently bring like 20, 30 kids like per state that are really good. Well, what's going to happen in the South? Like, where are these kids going to go? is the question.
Right.
Because the same problem with Grandview right now, because that one kid who went at 57, I think was pretty sure was the backup. And I don't think, like, I could be wrong, but I don't think he was going to go to the national tournament. And I
Right.
think they were going to like double up somewhere else. Yeah, that's going to be the problem. Because if you have these people going to like all these people going to Penn State, well, like, what's the problem is that like you can only wrestle 10 people. Like
Yeah.
these other people are going to have the backups. Like Mason Manville was someone who I always grew up about, like just being this absolute stud. Went to Penn State where there was a lot of other studs and like not Colampro, like he couldn't do much because there was Vincenzo Joseph. There was who was at 74 for them?
Mm,
Nickel his first
yeah.
year.
Nickel. They have Carter Starocki now. They
Yeah.
had, man, I
But
can't even.
it's just too deep of a pool.
Yeah.
And like they try to go somewhere else. It's like, oh, there's someone else there too.
Mm.
Which is why I think like there's definitely going to be more of like an equal level field as far as like the NAIA and NCAA. Definitely
I yeah, I agree. That's why like I'm a huge advocate is for one, like you said, like, man, it sucks to go to college, even if you could, because I have a friend who goes to Penn State right now. I won't like put his name out there, but I have a like, and he's been at Penn State for 4 years and he has never started once. And it's like, and he's not on a full ride, he's basically a walk-on for 4 years. And it's like pride has allowed him to go into debt. That's like one thing I never promote. Like pride allows you to go into debt, like in crazy amounts of debt. You're the wrong, it's wrong. And also another thing is like, even if he was on a full ride, let's say for some weird reason, he never gets to start. So you never really get that experience. And it's like, it's really cool to be like the teammate who's cheering on his team and stuff like that. But man, for
It
four
gets old
years,
though.
yeah, it gets old. It's like, dude, like you wanna at least have a chance to, become an All-American or a national champion. And regardless if it's D2 or NAI or anything in between, it's like I think it's like beautiful to like be able to go out and go to these lower divisions and still win. No one's gonna, well, it's like it would be great if we could all be Division I All-Americans. It would be so amazing.
Yeah. And the
And
other problem too is like I think we're kind of getting at is like the stereotyping of like NAI, like we're like at the bottom of the thing. Because I remember too when I was like in the transfer portal, like I'm not gonna say like the Division III schools were like, yeah, like you can't go NAI, like you're way better than the NAI. And I'm thinking to myself, like, why? Like here you
yeah,
are, like there's these two Division III schools like arguing with each other like over the phone, which was like this is just ridiculous. Like
yeah.
just
I
no.
I will say I tech falled the D3 national champ last year. So I teched him. I literally teched him. They can look it up. I'm an NAI national champion. I also lost a Division I just national qualifier. Like if that tells you. So it's like, man, like regardless of the division name, it's so the divisions are
Wrestling's
diverse.
wrestling.
Yeah, wrestling is wrestling. It's like I might lose to a good NAI guy, but I could also beat the top D2, D3 guy. I could also lose to a high level D1 guy and also beat a high level D1 guy, Like one of my training partners was Mason Paris, and when we wrestled and it's on film and people can look it up on YouTube and watch us for like 2 hours wrestling live, I got the better in a lot of exchanges. He got the better in a lot of exchanges. It was just purely wrestling,
Yeah.
He would beat me in a match though. I'm just putting that out there. He would definitely win in a match. But what I'm saying is I know I like the best of the best in the NAI, especially the people who really sacrifice a lot and are obsessed. I feel we at least have the potential to be right there with most top 30 Division I guys and definitely any of the top D2 or D3 guys. Like it's for me, D2, D3, NAI are all the same. If a D2 guy disagrees, we can wrestle. I bet I win. I'm like so confident that I just saw Cameron Teacher lose to an unranked Division II guy, and that's a 2-time Division II national champ. He looks sloppy. All right. I'm not trying to hate. All right. But when I hear things like that, like you're better than NAI, I'm just like, come on, man. Like, really? Like, what have you done? Like, what, like, prove it, because Grandview literally kicks Division II teams' asses all the time. Like, every year they duel them. I think they're on like a 70 duel win streak or something like that.
I remember too, a couple years ago, they went to the Michigan Open and took third as a team. And
Yeah.
I don't know if they're allowed back or not.
Yeah.
Because I remember I'm at Linwood, because that's one thing where I remember winning that tournament. I was like, I wonder if I'm gonna get invited back next year for winning this, because I think I was like the second NAIA wrestler to win it, and the other one who won it before me was the wrestler from Pitt. He was like the heavyweight. I think he was like a 2-time.
Okay.
I can't remember his name, but I think
Okay.
he was the one that did to do it before me.
Yeah, because I got second. Well, did I get second the same year you won it, or did I get second the year before at the Lindenwood? Do you know? Because I think it was 2000. This
Oh no, I'm saying this was my first year at Linwood.
Oh,
I say last season was my first year at Cumberland, and then we just didn't do any opens, or I didn't do any opens.
okay. So yeah, you won it the year after I got second place, because that's where I lost to Zach Elam, like 12-11.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that is impressive. That's pretty crazy. I didn't know that you actually won that tournament. That's that's a huge win, honestly. I think that's like an underrated tournament, to be honest. Like an underrated.
Because like you have like schools like Missouri, and like every once in a while you get a good kid from like Indiana that will be there too as well. It's just a collective, just good tournament to go.
Iowa has kids that go. So I went twice. The first time I went, I didn't place. Second time I got second. But the first time I went, Tony Cassiope was there. Like it's fucking crazy. And what's the Iowa State starter was there. Penn State had a wrestler there. Indiana, Kent State, like Missouri, like literally a bunch of like really big name Division I teams had kids there, including starters. Although Cassiope literally pinned every single person at that tournament. So I don't know if that means it was that much depth, but they send really good. That's like a tournament that I'm like, if you're in NAIA school, you should go. Like you should try to go. And
no, it's definitely a like the idea of like where to see where you're at, because like I was like probably the only NAIA person like like win it and like do really well, but like everyone on our team either took like that was there took 5th or 4th or 3rd, like they wrestled back and placed. Like that's so like super hard to do.
Yeah, dude, it's tough. That's a tough fucking tournament. Like that was like one of my big goals was to win that tournament, and we didn't end up going to it my last year. I think I could have won it this past year, but you never know. Probably could have got beat too. It's a tough tournament. So that's good to see. Another big thing about like NCAA and NAIA things is like, I mean, we already said it, is like, so not being able to start, and then the scholarship. I don't think people actually understand the weight of what money, like what loans do to you when you're an adult, because after a while, like most school loans say it's no interest, but what you don't read is that says no interest until you hit like this amount of time. Like after 12 months, now you have like a 1%, 2%, 3% interest rate on your loans. And it's like, if you go to college and you're $100,000 in debt, you might only be $100,000 in debt for 1 year. And then, after another year, that's 1,010, and then a couple years later, you still haven't started paying off your loans. And I know people, I literally have a friend who wrestled with me who also does jujitsu, who's literally $200,000 in debt and went to Division I school. And it's like, he got his master's degree there. And it's like, why? Like, what's the point of going into all this debt? Because like I have zero debt, none at all. And that's also one of the reasons I chose NAIA. And like I got the guy talked about at Penn State, same thing. He's going to be in a lot of debt, and it's like, what is it really worth? Because lots of the jobs you can get from going to NAIA schools, you can get at Division I schools.
It's the exact same.
Yes, it is the exact same. And I heard like people say, well, if you go to like Penn State or Michigan, like it looks good on your resume. It's like bullshit. You know what looks good on your resume? Your internship.
A degree.
Yeah, a degree.
Any degree that you like need.
Yeah. So I tested this out because I was like, oh man, I want to do some online work. So I applied for some HR job, like online HR jobs. They're like $50,000-$60,000 a year. Because when I come back from Canada in a couple months, I want to get like a little side hustle. And work online with my wrestling stuff. And I just put my resume in, put that I had a degree, put that I wrestled, blah, blah, and I got tons of offers, like 5 or 6 different offers like this almost immediately. And they're decent paying online jobs. Like I don't have to go anywhere. And it's like, I didn't have to go to Penn State to get that job. Like I didn't have to go to Michigan to get that job. Like it's really relative. And I think school is like the value of education. I don't want to be that guy, but I think it's becoming a lot lower than what it is now, because we have there's a lot of ways to make money and to be educated, not from going to like universities or colleges. Like, dude, like I literally sell wrestling. Like I'm not like I make probably $4,000 or $5,000 in a month just from wrestling, just teaching wrestling. Like, you know, I didn't have to go to school for that. I guess I had to win national tournaments. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's kind of the goal. I'm gonna because I want to coach. I want to have like my own youth program. Like when I'm done with it, so that's what I'm doing right now. Just trying to like build stuff to my name.
Yes. Okay, good. That helps me transition because I was going to ask you that question because I was like, me and you seem like we're a lot alike. And it's hard to, because I always tell myself, I'm never going to be a coach. Like, fuck that. I'm never going to be a coach. But it
That's
was
what
BS.
I was first leaning towards at the beginning when I was you like, man, like I need to like to get an actual job. Like, what am I gonna do with my life? Well, like I've always really loved wrestling.
Yeah.
Like that's all I ever really talk about, and that's all people like tend to bring up with me too. Like they don't really ask me like, what do you want to do? It's like, hey, like can you help me with this? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Go ahead. We'll start working.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
We'll see. But then like definitely these last 2 years, I was like, you know, like I think wrestling's like the thing for me. So like after I'm done like competing, I need to coach, like just be involved with it somehow. Like either work for track wrestling or flow wrestling, just something to keep in the sport.
Yeah, yeah, of course. I think like, so what I did at first is I graduated. I literally took any wrestling camp I could. That like I literally did 20 wrestling camps last summer. And they weren't even big paying wrestling camps. Like I literally was just like, hey, can I come to your school for a day and do a camp? You can pay me whatever you want. And I did that a ton. And then I was like, oh shit, like I can like make a living off of wrestling. Camps is not a very like viable option if you want like full-time like living because it's really like a summer thing.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, crap, I need to be creative. How can I find a way to make money with my passion? I'm reading like the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, so like it's funny because they talk about a lot of this stuff. How can I make money with my passion? I'm still gonna have to hustle. And I was like, I can do private lessons. It's not very easy to get private lessons at first, but like once you get the ball rolling, it literally just doesn't stop. Like I've done close to 300 privates since August when I started. And it's like, man, now I have a club. Like I have a full-on wrestling club now, and I have like 20, 25 kids in my wrestling club who come weekly. And it's like, I had nothing. Like I literally had nothing at the beginning, and this is like less than a year in of doing it, or coming up on a year in of doing it. And I think lots of wrestlers, like at our level, especially, just give up on like wrestling stuff after college when really it's not like the Big Ten Division I guys that are going to be making the wrestling clubs. Like those aren't the ones that are going to grow the sport. Like, because all they're going to do is go to camps, overcharge for camps that literally they just teach moves that literally anyone can teach. And then they're going to go on and wrestle international and, you know, RTC stuff. I think it's like our responsibility, like NAIA, D2, D3 guys, like make these like small, affordable clubs, do affordable privates and stuff. And you can build your career doing that stuff. Whereas like, no offense to Division I guys, but lots of those guys literally only know the sport of doing wrestling and not teaching. There's exceptions, of course.
Yeah.
But I think it's we just have such a big opportunity, and right now because we have social media, it's very easy to create a clientele, especially with ads and stuff. I don't know if you've like ever looked into that, but if you ever are just like, hey, I want to do this wrestling club stuff, one of the greatest things to do is to pay for Facebook ads. It's like a true like businessman thing to do. Like my mentor, he's probably the most famous jiu-jitsu like YouTuber in the world. He literally pays for like Facebook, Instagram ads just so people can like see him and they can buy his product and stuff. And I did that, and I don't even have to pay for ads anymore. And now like I have like easily 20, 30 kids doing privates with me every week, plus the club. And I'm a fucking NAIA wrestler. You know what I mean? Like I'm not anyone special. I'm not like the greatest wrestler in the world. But sorry, I went on a rant. There's opportunities for you to make money.
You're good.
Yeah. There are opportunities for you to make money with your like talent after you finish college, and lots of people don't know that, and it pisses me off because I hate 9-to-5s. I hate them so much. They make me sad, man. I worked at I also worked at a coffee shop at the time I was doing all those camps just to make some side money for my apartment, and I was just like, I can't do this. Like I hate this.
No,
like,
I used to work at a car wash, and I just remember thinking like all throughout the day, like man, like just like I want to go do wrestling or something. So like I'd go on my phone real quick, like before the next start, and I'm like, all right, like what's going on? Like how's Jordan Burroughs doing? What's Flow Wrestling got to post?
Yeah.
Like, what's like the latest high school tournament?
Yeah, literally. Same. Literally, when I was at the coffee shop, I'd just be like on Instagram, like seeing like, okay, some wrestling stuff. Here's some jujitsu stuff, wrestling stuff. Like my mind is always on wrestling, and some days, I'm just like, dang, I'm tired. Like these privates are hard. Like, because sometimes I have to work out with these kids. Like sometimes these kids don't have partners, so I'm like working out with kids and stuff all the time. But then like I sit down and reflect, like when I'm talking to you, or I talk to my girlfriend, or just talk to someone else about my job. I'm like, this is fucking awesome. Like it can suck physically sometimes because you're expending a lot of energy to do it, but it's like
Yeah.
I could be sitting in at a desk in a cubicle with 100 people that I don't really know or care about and be doing a job that makes really, really, really good money, but I'm just not super passionate about. Um, and I think lots of guys basically sell their life away or work their life away, doing something that they hate. Um, but maybe I'm wrong, and maybe someone will hear this and be like, "That's bullshit. Go work a normal job." And I'll tell them if that's what you
I
think,
would
keep doing
love
it.
to see someone do that.
Yeah,
Just because like it takes a lot. Like their coach Hicks was talking about this too. Like it takes a lot of just energy just to coach. Like it's draining.
it is.
Like I want to bet you because like they were talking about that one match. They got so drained after my finals match, and I'm like, wow, like just like right now making the comparison, like they probably got more drained than someone that does like a typical 9 to 5 job. Like
Yeah,
like just the same. And that was only like 7 minutes, if that.
yeah, and you have to think about how Coach Hicks is thinking too. Like to him, you're like for most good wrestling coaches, and I think Hicks is a really cool dude and seems like a really good wrestling coach. Like the athletes are like their sons, like you're
Yeah.
like their heart is in it, like when they really want you to win. And so it's like I can feel that myself, uh like when I was watching Trevor, because I really wanted Trevor to win this year. I knew Zane was going to win, but I really wanted Trevor to win because it's my friend. And I was drained just like watching his tournament play out. I was like, like God, like there was lots of heartbreak and lots of joy because he ended up placing third, and there was like a lot that goes into it. And I can't imagine being a college wrestling coach who's there every single day with you, like seeing you train, seeing you get hurt, seeing you have your good days and your bad days, and then like actually winning the national tournament. It's like, it's crazy. Oh, okay. I have another question. I gotta ask the question. I keep getting on
Absolutely.
these
Go ahead.
rants. So, because I asked this to Andreas Bond, and this question holds lots of pressure. And if you can't handle pressure, you can just tell me, don't ask this question.
So obviously, I think I can.
I think you can handle some pressure. How are you gonna do it again? It's only a week out. Like, so what are you gonna do? Because I have some advice that I like to give like the national champs. I'm not no fucking
Mhm.
special guy. I'm a fucking scrub, but I did end up repeating a couple of times. What are you gonna do to take it back? I'm gonna let you have the.
I would say biggest thing that like I've already started working out again because
Mhm,
like I'm here to wrestle, so like I'm just gonna continue to do and just continue to grow.
mhm,
Um, as far as like doing it again, it's probably for me staying ahead of the curve because like wrestling's always changing. Like I remember watching Yanni wrestle, and like he was the first things to kind of do with like chasing like the far side to go for like go behind, but the
mhm,
way he would attack hip and ankle was like all new. Like he was the first one doing that,
mhm,
and me just like, at the time just doing just normal sprawl couldn't like score off at how he was. Like I would
mhm,
just go sprawl and I would just get taken down kind of how I did in the quarters without
mhm.
trying to cut the corner.
Yeah.
And like the more I started to play around with it, like the more I got it.
Mhm,
So just trying to keep up with like as far as like wrestling and like how it like progresses, definitely for sure. Cause I'm here for the next 3 more years. Like it's gonna change some way. Like whether it be like, oh, like everyone's gonna start looking more throws now. Well, like that means I either gotta start looking more throws or I gotta start looking to defend stuff to get
mhm.
back to my hands.
Yeah.
Uh definitely for sure keeping up my conditioning is definitely how I'm gonna get more titles down the road for me
Yeah.
because I just physically wear on people.
Mhm,
Coach X
exactly.
always talks about that. He's like, you got to wrestle Cole Smith for 7 minutes. Like, if you
Mhm.
stop, like, it doesn't matter like what the score is. Like, I'm gonna get those points back.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. Heck yeah. I like those answers. Keep up with the times, make sure your wrestling technique's good, and keep your conditioning up. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like for me, like the big thing was uh be your biggest critic. Like to myself, I would be like, be my biggest critic and like really find ways to expose my weaknesses in the off season. like I said, leg riding was like one of those things that was a really big weakness for me, and then it became like a strength for me, where like I could basically reverse anyone who tried to leg ride me, and bottom.
I'm not quite that with the leg riding, because like leg riding was my biggest thing too.
Really.
But oh my, so for like the past like this whole year, it would always be like, all right, hey, like we're drilling our, because I think I'm pretty good on my feet. Like I'm good with my defense. I'm good with my offense, but I just really struggled getting out of legs. So it's constant like throughout this whole season, not that like I was trying to reverse people, say like you need to get out, like you need to at least get out that leg to get to your feet.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Gavin Smith, and was super good with legs.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I got on in like 11 seconds as soon as he threw in a boot, and he's super tough with legs. Like he hips over, like he keeps you planted in the mat.
Yeah.
He threw in a boot, and I remember learning this thing at ODU where it was once they throw in the boot to that side, you're gonna turn and open up your hip, and then you're gonna turn the other hip, just stand up right to your feet.
Yeah.
And I forgot about this for the longest time. I just kept doing this over and over and over again in the practice room until I got, because at first just doing it takes like a little bit of time. You gotta learn where to distribute your weight. But then like after like the first week of like the season, like I had it down pretty well. I was just keeping up with it.
Yep. We call that like the hip switch. Like that's what I call it, because I actually teach it a lot. It's one of the best ways, because you have like, if they have a power half, you go swim move. If they don't, like if they ride cross body or just throw the leg in, you do like a hip switch, and it just makes them basically fall. Like it kind of just get and
oh no. I don't like sit out with it. I go like I stand up.
Oh, you stand up.
Yeah, no.
Oh, you come all the way up from it and then just turn into them.
Yes, and like I go up, like they still have the boot in, and like we're just on our feet, and like they have to like clear out the leg, otherwise they're gonna get hit for something.
Okay, yeah. I don't know what to call that move, but I know exactly. It's kind of like a hip switch, but you just stand up instead of
that's all I do.
Yeah, it's instead of doing like a full-on changeover, you actually just stand up. Oh yeah. See, I never thought about that because no one ever really rode when I stayed up. But yeah, they get called for stalling if they did, huh?
And see, like I'm not super like quick or flashy like Kaz Maya on our team is like super like athletic and can do probably what you're like the hip switch thing.
Yeah,
I can't do that. I'm not that quick.
Yeah, you do have to be explosive. Like you do. Dang, yeah, that's really good. I'll probably teach that because I know exactly what you're talking about now. I'll probably teach that at my next club practice, since like our focus has been leg riding defense.
The other thing with that too, is
no, of course.
With that is that what I found out is that you have to do it like with a hand. Like you have to grab their arm or hand some way. So like how you were saying, the like when they go power off, or like when they're reaching, I'll like grab a hand or like grab an arm. So as I'm coming up, they don't go down for like a banana split or like something just to hold on my leg. Because that's the next thing they're gonna do.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'll grab that hand beforehand, then do it, and then they try doing that. They can't let go. They have to stay where they're at.
Yeah. Leg ride defense, it's crazy because there are lots of little intricacies like that. Like fighting the hands when you're doing any of the stuff is super important, because that's what happened in the semis at heavyweight. That big dummy from Mongolia, not honestly, he's not a dummy, but like not the semis, the quarters, the Southeastern kid spladled him because the kid was like basing up in a quad pod and just like giving this tall, lengthy dude all the time to just go and spladle him. And I'm just like, that's it's pretty cool to see that we have like some international guys coming into the NAI, which is also like, I mean, that's rare, but it's like that was one of those things where it's like, dude, you clearly never wrestled like K through 12 like folk style wrestling, because he did everything wrong. Like if I looked at like, I mean, even if I wrestled you, if we were the same weight class, if I wrestled you, I don't know if you ride legs or not, but like I would just assume that you're really good at like riding legs and spladles. So I would be like, everything's gonna be super tight. I'm gonna make sure I'm fighting hands, because if I get up, I don't want to get spladled. And just leg road in general. But lots of guys don't think about that. That was just, of course, another tangent. But yes, leg riding defense is super important. What we're talking about. Yeah. So just keep growing your technique, keep getting better. And you said also the conditioning thing. And
because like some people it's like, oh, like strength's their biggest thing. Well, like for me, I know it's conditioning. So like I know if I just keep that up, like that's gonna like do well for me in the future.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't know if you even have the option to do this, but I think you should go. I mean, I don't, this is just like advice from me to you. You should go to another school and train. Like you should try to travel and train, or go back to your hometown and train with like other college wrestlers, or just stay at the university you're at and just train there. because like for me, like I went to University of Illinois and trained. I went to Chattanooga and trained. I trained with Mason. I went and found different fields. Uh,
It's just to like expand the wrestling in your knowledge
yeah,
with it. No,
yeah,
I know exactly what you're saying. Because I
yeah.
was thinking about just doing like not to like full college, but like different RTCs is what I was thinking about doing, just going there.
Yeah, exactly. It's like pay the bucks and just try it out because it's totally worth. I think Chattanooga would be a great one because you should be pretty close to it.
Also, they
Well,
got I think Nicholson's there. I think this is his last season though, but like either way, they got some good kids. So.
yeah, they have really good kids. Yeah, when I went to Chattanooga, I went there for like 14 days. Man, they had like two really good heavyweights. They had Matthew Waddell, which was like he's like an 84 pounder, but he was like 200 at the time. He's a
Yeah.
stud. He just won conference. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and they had like one or two other guys at 97. Like, so it's like all those guys are hands down way better than all the people in my room. And they all gave like really, really different feels. And I feel like they made me a lot better. Obviously, Mason is just I mean, he's just freakishly strong and fast. Uh, and then at Illinois, again, same thing, like a couple really good guys that can give me good feels. But one of the problems that I think at staying at like your own school is the lack of diversity as far as like
Yeah,
partners
no, because if
goes.
you're constantly wrestling the same people,
Yeah,
like they're gonna adjust to like, oh, because like I shoot single legs and like wrestling Ryan Long, like it's already starting to happen. Like, all right, like he's really good with like single leg defense now, so
yeah,
like I don't nearly get to it as much.
yeah,
That's a
exactly.
problem. But
Yeah,
like if
yeah,
that's the only shot that I do, then like I gotta come up with different ways to score. And if he's only worried about defending that, then like, hey, like how is he gonna get to his offense? But then let's say, oh, his shot is to the same side I shoot too. So like how is
yeah,
he gonna get to that side?
yeah, 100%. Like I thought my ankle pick sucked because I was wrestling Brett Bradford, who's a and he knew I had a really good like collar tie ankle pick, like whether it's cross or same side. But like when I went to go wrestle other people, I could hit my ankle pick like almost flawlessly. Like
Mm-hmm.
because if someone just know, like if you're wrestling the same guys, they usually know your style, you usually know their style. Even if you have like 10 guys you wrestle with in your practice, there's something usually missing
Mm-hmm.
that you could need. The last big thing that I would say advice is to make sure you're taking your break too. Like whenever the time comes, like getting those 1 or 2 weeks where you're just like you're still exercising, but you're kind of like fuck it for like a couple of weeks. Like you're
No,
kind of you take your breather. You're
that's what I'm trying to do right now. Just trying to stay off the mat as far as like wrestling. That's why I'm
yes,
just like,
stay off the mat
yeah.
is more what I mean. Like still exercise, still run, still do like don't do anything crazy. But kind of just deload and let your mind and body let yourself celebrate a little bit. Like have a little bit of fun. And I mean, I don't know what you do for fun, but like do that. Like try to fit it in right now.
I play D&D and I watch anime. That's what
Yeah,
that's
I
what
love
that's what
anime too. See, that's that's the craziest thing is so favorite. So this is off topic. Favorite anime. Top three.
My hero is definitely up there
Yeah.
for sure. Right now, me and my girlfriend were rewatching SAO.
Okay. Yeah.
I
I've
like
watched.
I forgot how good that one was.
It's a heart wrencher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I think they came with like a new season or something.
They
That's
did.
like we're rewatching because we haven't seen that one yet. And then my all-time favorite one, it was probably like one of the first ones I watched. It was like an older one. It's called Elfen Lied.
Oh, yep. I've heard of Elfen Lied. I've
I
heard of
like
it.
that one. And then obviously Dragon Ball.
Yeah. Dragon Ball. I'm watching Dragon Ball Super right now, actually. Um, dude, that's crazy. So for me, top three, my number one favorite one is called Kenichi. Not most people don't know what it is. It's like this martial art anime where like this guy just absolutely sucks at like fighting, and then he joins a martial arts school and basically, he works super hard and becomes like a really good fighter. I just thought I love it because the motivation part of it. Sword Art Online is number two for me, hands down. I've watched that series so many times it's wrong. Um, number three for me, it's kind of maybe a cheap sellout is Naruto. Naruto was just so good.
No, it's a solid one.
It's
Have you seen Overlord?
I haven't seen Overlord.
It's a good one. So like it's pretty much the same type concept as Sword Art Online, where like they get trapped in a video game, but it's not like the character dies in the end. But the thing about him is that he's like super overpowered.
Oh yeah.
So like he bought like all like the game stats. He has like
Yeah.
he's just a super character.
Yeah, he's OP. It's
and like the CPs come to life and stuff too. It's really good.
yeah. I might have. There's another. Actually, I might have seen Overlord. Wait, no. There's another anime that's like a game one. I can't remember the name of it. It's too long ago. But I'll check out Overlord. Yeah, man. I'm a big fan of anime. So
I
that's a
also
good
have this theory too that like
okay.
all great wrestlers watch anime because like if you look and see like all these people winning like national titles are like consistent like placing at, like national tournaments, like they all watch anime.
Yeah.
It's just like this weird little like thing.
It's
So
because I think like it's anime is very relatable, but also unrelated. Like there's just some motivation. There's love, romance, there's excitement. It's funny. It's like anime creates all this. I feel like anime gave me like the life I didn't have while I was in college. Like it's like almost I could experience a different life while also being like who I was. It sounds so weird, but there's just something about it that just was like oof. Especially Naruto at the time. I was watching Naruto up to that first point where I won my first and second national titles, and like huge Rock Lee fan because of Naruto. Like I was like, all right, I got
that's the
yeah.
character I probably base myself off. Like one that's just like doesn't have any like what do they call it? Like the
like
power. I
yeah,
can't
the
remember.
like the what is it? The chi or what
Yeah,
is it?
she or like whatever, like it flows throughout their body. Like he
Yeah,
like has like not the worst one, but like the one that's just like the least useful, like as far as
yeah,
like how it's looked in the thing.
yeah. Chakra,
That's me.
chakra. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We have like same. I'm like I don't have good chakra. I got some weak ass chakra, so I gotta train super super hard. I would
If it's
literally
not
watch.
200 sit-ups, it's 300 push-ups.
Yeah, exactly. It's so funny because I would literally watch that little scene where a guy sensei is like watching him train on the outside. I would literally watch that before wrestling tournaments and be like, like I'm pumping myself up. Like I'm like, or I would watch it before really hard workouts. So I did like a sprint workout once a week, and I would like watch it and be like, okay, this is my shit right here. Or I would do those extra workouts where I would drill and I'd always listen to like Naruto, like lo-fi music to help me like get my
Yeah.
flow. And
No, I'm the same way, playing that Hunter in the background or like
yeah,
the
yeah,
Naruto Shippuden theme songs. Yep.
yeah. It's crazy because like lots of people are just someone's gonna listen to this be like, what the fuck is it like anime? Like what the hell? And
Yeah,
it's
no,
like,
that's exactly what it is too. Especially when like we open up the doors to the wrestling room, and it's just me in there. Like, the soccer girls will come over and like, what? Like, cause like they'll use our bathroom sometimes, cause like
yeah,
it's like a standalone facility, and the field's like right
mm,
next to it, and then
mm.
just like I'll get weird looks, but at the end of the day, like I
It
don't
doesn't
care.
matter. It's like
Yeah,
I think like that right there is like a secret gem that we just put into this is like you have to do whatever it takes for you to get into the zone. And whether that's your anime music, some people like to listen to like bodybuilding motivational stuff, like whatever it is, no matter how stupid someone else thinks it is, like that stuff really gets me in the zone and it seems like it gets you in the zone. And it's like that's totally fine because you have to find a way to make yourself like the best version of you. And you have to tell other people to fuck off if they have a problem with it because like that just it makes me not take life so seriously when I'm doing stuff too. It's like I can work really hard and also have fun. And I think lots of wrestling teams don't have that. Well, not wrestling teams. I think lots of wrestlers, like individual wrestlers, don't know how to balance
just
like the
have
hard
fun.
work and have fun because it is
Hmm.
fun, man. And then we only get to do it for a couple of years. Some of us 4 years, some of us 8 years, like Jaden Ironman, and some of us, less. Uh, but you got to have fun, which is also another reason I think it's awesome to go to the NAIA because your opportunities to compete and have more fun are there. That
Yeah.
was a little plug for the NAIA. Okay, I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna ask you two more questions. I got two more questions for you. Then I got to go do wrestling private lessons because I gotta make that money. I gotta
Yep.
gotta support my kids. Well, I don't have any children, by the way, but I mean, I'm just to put that out there. What was the biggest moment of adversity that you had this season?
It was, believe it or not, it was not the finals match. Like, even though I was down 8-0,
Yeah.
I would have to say it happened at Lindenwood. It was in the quarterfinals. I was wrestling the All American from my country. He was so good at taking people down,
Hmm.
like so good. Like I had an old teammate, two old teammates on like the same team from my country. They're like before I went to wrestle him, they're like, yeah, he's super good at taking people down. And I'm thinking to myself, well, like I'm not feeling pretty good, so like we'll see what happens. He so quick. Like I don't even think he touched the knee in the mat. Just grabbed my leg, lift me up, and just threw me to the ground. And I'm just like, fuck, like what am I gonna do? He did it twice in a row. No,
Yeah.
3 times in a row in the first routine. Went on 3 times. I remember just like, hey, like you just gotta keep scoring points. Like if you just want to have a chance. Because at the end of the like period, I got a reversal to like make it like 6-4. So I'm only down 2 points.
Mhm.
But I remember thinking too, I'm like, fuck, like I'm probably gonna lose. Like it doesn't matter, this and that. And then I
Yeah.
remember like right as like he flipped the coin to see who got it, I'm like, you know what, like no, like fuck that. Like you
Yeah.
gotta find a way right now.
Yeah.
And I remember I chose bottom, I got up, and then Sam's I think gets to my like super quick. He lifts me up, throws me down like on the ground again, but like for some reason, like I'm able to get out. I don't know how. Like I like my ass was on the ground, and like
Yeah.
I sprung up so quick, and I just ran around him from go behind, just got a 2-point takedown.
Yeah.
So the score's like 7-6, and I'm like, okay, like I got this kid now. Like he's done.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was just like pushing the pace. I kept faking, just working fronts because I couldn't shoot because he was just too quick for like reattacks. So like I would fake, pull his head down, and then I actually we thought I like broke like a bone in my eyebrow because like my whole eye like puffed up, swelled up really bad. Like it was black and blue like immediately.
Yeah.
Once that happened, I was like, you know, like fuck this. Like it swelled up super. Like I am winning this match, like regardless at this point.
Yeah.
So it was really just like front heads, snatches, and then I ended up winning that match like 11-7 with riding time.
Hell yeah.
And then my one friend from McKendree too, his name's Josh Jones. He was like an All-American at 74. I remember looking over him at the match and like I made eye contact with him. I'm like, yeah, like this kid's about to get fucked up right now. like he had 3 takedowns. And I remember too, my dad came up to me. He was like, yeah, Cole, I'll be honest, like thought you were done that match. And I'm like, you know what? Like at one point I wasn't gonna say it, like I thought it was done too, but like, you know what, like put my head in the like right frame of mind. So I came back and won.
Yeah, dude. That's awesome. Those are the best type of matches.
Yeah, you would have loved to seen it.
Yeah, dude.
Coach Hicks, that was one of his favorite matches too, because he was like, you know what, like after the first period, like I knew you had it, Cole. Like it was just done. I didn't even have to coach, just sat back and watched.
There's something about breaking a guy that just and coming back in a match that honestly is like an unbeaten feeling. That's how I felt against Tanner Farmer in the finals. The second time I won nationals is, man, I could have lost, and then he was done. Like you could see he was done when he got caught for stalling. And it's like beating that guy who honestly should have beat you. We got like the match you should have lost. That's the best feeling. It's not the dominant ones. It's the ones where you come back and you whoop them up, just like your finals match.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's the other thing too that like I really stress about is like not to panic.
Yeah.
Like, not that anything can happen, but like if someone's panicking or like someone's like too hyped up or like this isn't the right mindset, like it affects your wrestling. It's like the person who stays calm. Yeah. The person who stays calm the longest, like the mind that's calm and relaxed, is usually the mind that like at the end of the day will just fuck some shit up.
Yeah, because you can think clearly. I'm the same exact way. I did my warm-up before my matches and I would just breathe. I did my 10 deep breaths, and then I always tell myself I'm more than this moment. Like and then so like for me, it will like I would have nerves and then I would do that little routine, and I swear I never missed this routine for 3 years. And after I'd said that to myself and I did those 10 deep breaths, I was like, no shakes, nothing. I felt calm. I felt like the man again. Like I would just go out there and be like, all right, it's time to be a thug. Like that's what I always tell myself, I'm more than this moment, it's time to be a thug. And I'd slap my coach's hand and he would say, you're a thug, Brandon. And I'd be like, yep, let's go. Like I'm wrestling. Like I'm having fun now. Instead of going out there and be like, I gotta win. I'm gonna kill this guy, or like being scared and being like, oh, okay, now I'm nervous. Like I might lose. Like, either way, like either extreme, the being too nervous or being too excited can, a clear mind wins, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Like having a good, clear mind and being focused is a lot better than overthinking the situation and making yourself wrestle different, nervous or excited. Either one can happen. Okay. Last question I'm going to ask you. This was good. We got a lot of time. This might be my longest podcast so far.
Wow.
This is good. It was good though. It was great, man. I love talking to champions because and all Americans, but especially national champions, because regardless of your division, very few people can relate to the feeling of being a national champ and how normal of a person you actually are, regardless of if you win or, you don't.
Mhm.
Last one. What piece of advice would you give to a kid or a new wrestler? If you had one piece of advice you could give them, what would it be?
Couple things. The first thing is like that stereotype with the NAI and like NCAA. I would just break that down for them and be like, hey, look, like at the end of the day, wrestling's wrestling. Like you go to where like you're gonna be best fit, not to where like necessarily you want to be. Because like I want to be at Penn State. I want to be like at like what people label as like the pinnacle or mecca, but like I know like where I need to be to become the best. That's one thing. As far as like wrestling and stuff technique goes, I would definitely say John Smith always said it too. Get a good defense first, because a good defense is going to lead to a more like encouraging offense. It's going to lead to you being more like open to attacks and stuff like that. As far as like you yourself just wanting to attack. So definitely having that good defense first, just to get that like good offense mindset going into it. And then the last thing would just be staying calm. Like so many times people, like how we were talking about, like go into like a match or like get rattled because like something happens. Like a lot of times people like not argue with the ref, but like won't like what like a ref's call, and they're like, what, like this is ridiculous. Because I remember when I was wrestling Siddle that life, there was like a controversial takedown that like he should have got. And like it, like I knew immediately at that point, because like he wasn't arguing with the ref, but he was just like what, like said what like aloud at that point. I knew like, all right, like he's out of his mindset right now. Like as long as I stay on my mindset, regardless of what I do, like I'll take the win here.
Heck yeah, those are some good pieces of advice. Whenever I post this up, I'm sure I'll put like a clip for Instagram, and I'll put that. But dude, we're done. We did it. This was awesome. I really appreciate you coming on and talking. It's super nice. My first 2022 national champ I got to talk to. You're a cool dude. I consider you a friend now. We had almost a 2-hour talk, so it's good. It's perfect. All right, dude. Be safe. Have fun. I'll catch up with you again when the seasons come back. Make sure you're not you're not in the wrong mindset. Make sure that champ mindset's still here.
It'll still be there, I promise.
Yeah, cool, dude. All right, man. I'll see you later.
I'll see you.